with tarot, let's just get to it because uh it's what time it is. The channel that came through with these cards today was um Spirit really wants, and I'm speaking to my damn self here. Spirit really wants us to believe in ourselves at this time, um and the power that we have to transform things. And the whole Decepticon squad has been calling me, so I got all the air boys out. What I'm saying, a couple of the heavy hitters, because it feels like that time. The shadow has been subdued somewhat in this world because of standards of behavior and whatnot. But there is always chaos and order. You know what I'm saying? The Justice card. This is balance. This is the South Node presently. If we're looking at Libra, Squirrel, welcome on in. Feel free to just make yourself at home. We here to do it. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the Justice card here because it talks about the scales being balanced. And the scales being balanced in the 42 laws is, those are confessions of the soul. I have not done these things. Because with justice, we're talking about the law. We're talking about the 42 laws. We're talking about that Ma'at energy when we're talking about justice. You know what I'm saying? This is a bloody rendition. And it's just come to me now why this card came out like it did. So, you know, please, this is it's got to be a learning process with everything that's new. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to come into it knowing why all the time. So here it is with this card that this is actually a combination of Aries and Libra. The red, the sword, that blood is very much Aries, very much intentional, very much that magnet. You know what I'm saying? But justice is the balance. It's the wings. You know what I'm saying? It's making sure that both sides are um, represented or accordingly. You know what I mean? So even in times of peace, you know what I'm saying? There's times of war kind of thing where it's in the center of things. Let your heart be lighter than a feather. Energy means there is no guilt, no shame, no, none of these negative connotations or um okay, so let's just say the laws that were created for this land, this physical realm, they were created because, for the most part, they know people are not going to obey them. You understand? That's the trap of the laws that we live by, because we're talking about authenticity at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? People are going to do shit like this. You know what I mean? And this is where we get kind of caught up. But that's just like kind of side note to what I'm saying. This is universal, cosmic law. And let's get into the rest of the cards. But I wanted to start out with the Justice card because of that download with this is a this is a culmination card right here. Because I've always said during a lot of my astrology readings that if you put Libra and Aries together, you would get the angel, the vengeful angel who has that sword of truth. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in that swing. You understand what I'm saying? There's only clarity. So whatever needs to be cut away at this time, it's with all the love in your heart. It really is. And speaking of all the love in your heart, the second card that came out today is the Queen of Hearts. And as you can see, if you take a little bit closer at the bubbles, that's universal divine love. Again, we're speaking more cosmically than, you know, the layer above all that we we perceive as reality from day to day. But this is this is nature, this is the planets, this is the universe kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? This is that one, that allness, that wholeness, you know what I mean? The bees, the butterflies, the birds, all talk about this procreation. which is very much again an Aries card, that fertility. You understand what I'm saying? And it all comes from the heart. Now that is there's a lot that can be said, but this is the softer, feminine, but more internal side of things. You know what I mean? So recently, the hippopotamus has been coming up, and big mama energy, and more people are killed by hippopotamuses than any other animal. These are fierce animals, and it's no coincidence that that same archetype represents Taweret, the goddess who sits in the center of the zodiac, and the center. You understand what I'm saying? So there's still that dual nature of this killer, but this ultimate nurturer at the same time. You know what I mean? It's all about the truth of the matter, pretty much at the end of the day. But does it balance the scales? An eye for an eye, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Vengeance, at the end of the day, a lot of the mythology speak of vengeance. Even in the kung fu flicks, it was like you kill somebody's master or some shit like that, and it was a whole journey to whoop somebody's ass. You know what I mean? Who need to get who need to take that out, to balance things out. So the other cards that came, well, no, let's stick with this for a minute. Because there's just a little bit more in here. uh for at this time, those bubbles of love that she's having to go at here, that's putting it out into the world because it's coming from an internal space. You understand what I'm saying? So this is your projection, or this is the perceived projection that we should be taking right now. If we're not loving ourselves, then nothing can come out that looks that beautiful. You understand? But if we are, it's almost like our, not even a duty, but our inheritance. It's our natural state to just put that out there like that. You know what I mean? Like, who really wants to see kids getting burnt and bombed? Shit like that. Like, who wants to see all this crime and all this hate? Like, let's get it together, kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we kind of stand on the sidelines and we watch day to day, and it's like, what can we do about it? Well, this is one of those things. The physical realm has always been a product of the vibration of the spirit and whatever the collective conscious is experiencing. So even with all this overload of hate, you know what I'm saying, and lies and all this other cover up shit, it's meant to bring you into a state that's not natural. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't exude that energy, because this is the cure. This is the cure. You know what I mean? You kill them with kindness, kind of thing, but it's still that sword. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be a physical. And the ancients spoke of that we never were going to win this war physically. It was all about the magic within, the sciences that were already within us. You know. So moving on to really clean this up, there's a moment of cleansing. So I'll introduce Raindance, and Raindance is one of the more um, dynamic of the fairies that I did, um, mainly because she's one of the very few, if I think she's the only one I did color. The other ones are in black and white, and that was for a specific purpose. But she came through in Atlantic City. I was doing a show out in Atlantic City, and I went outside on a smoke break, right? And I sat with my back to the ocean, just to listen to the waves. And I tell you, when I say it felt like somebody came up behind me and just started whispering, like, I can't really explain it. You would say it was like secrets or hidden truths or whatever that kind of energy is, but it just felt very moist. Like the quality of a singer, like a Sade kind of energy, a little that raspy, like like a sandy beach with that water over top of it. But she came through as a culmination of quite a few things. First of all, the rain dance, the Native American tradition of invoking, a healing. So this is This is at the core of what we've been experiencing internally, because there is and always has been that sense of justice. Things are just not right kind of energy. And in that, it becomes more of a beacon, you know what I'm saying? That understanding, you know what I'm saying, becomes a beacon for the answer or the cure to come in. So it's like popping the green smoke, literally, you know what I'm saying? This is popping the green smoke for the for the hella for the healer to come through, you know what I'm saying? And drop some napalm on the bullshit kind of energy. So this is something that's been in the works. You know, you think of all the suffering of peoples that are going on now, and even in our recent history, you know what I mean? 400, 500 years to people who have been around for millions of years really is just a blink of an eye. But still, there's still that remnant, you know what I'm saying, that's still going on today, that still affects the way we're growing. But it's all, strangely enough, coming to the understanding that it's all part of the plan. But anyway, with Rain Dance, this is about actual dancing, releasing, crying, the moisture, the wetness, the empathy, the connection with all things, the power of internal magic of the soul. You understand? This is a because dancing kind of in the rain, very soulful. You know what I'm saying? A cleansing rain too, not as much like it very much like the blue storm in the mind oracle, but this one can go either way, you know what I'm saying, depending on the situation. Whereas the blue storm is just set on knocking shit over, this one can be either or. You know, this could be the hurricane off the coast, but this could also be that soft rain, you know what I'm saying, a bit more gentle, very colorful. This is crown chakra energy, but it has all the colors of the chakras in it. So it's like that not even seeing them as separate. You understand what I'm saying? Seeing them as just one big color spectrum that we have within. And that the methods that we have used up to this point were just to get us to this point of understanding. But now it's time to grow out of that. You know what I mean? And I mean by like the image of the chakras that we've been given, circles on a piece of paper on parts of the human body. You understand what I'm saying? Seemingly separate or of course they have their individual qualities, but they all bleed together. You know what I'm saying? So this is a coming together as a dance usually does. Even, you know, invoking the spirits so that both realms are represented, kind of thing. You know, you have your sigi ceremonies, you have your initiations, you know, your trials that a lot of native cultures practice in order to commemorate those moments. You know, so these are moments that are quite moving, quite cleansing, purifying. And speaking of those that show up during such things, the spirit guides came up today as well. This is Fancy after she's decided to take her, you know, journey unknowingly, kind of stumbling about and falling into the places that she needs to be, although it doesn't seem like it. These four spirit guides step forward to assist her on her journey, unbeknownst to her. You know what I'm saying? As she fell from the fairy realm into the physical realm, she kind of got that knock over the head, but she retained a lot more than we did in our time, if that makes sense. So these four are there to leave markers or influence certain situations um, through their conversation, through their interaction symbolically with Fancy. And it's the same with us. What are the symbols now? Where are they guiding us? What are they trying to show us about ourselves and the people around us? But not only that, you know, these are, you want to really look at these spirit guides as some as like long lost friends or mentors, you know what I mean? Or you know, teachers, because they've all mastered something in their experience as humans that is here to help us, You know what I mean? Master that aspect of ourselves. So it behooves us to ask as much as we can. And in this past week's reflection, it's one of those things where I was asking myself, what if anyway, just to play with it, you know what I mean? Just to be a kid with it. What if you could do anything different um, prior to where you are now? What would it be? And the answer I came up with was I would have asked a lot more questions. You understand what I'm saying? I would have asked a lot more questions of those people around me, especially the ones that aren't here. And that's not to say I didn't ask a lot of questions. But being where I am now and realizing the power of um, asking a question and getting an answer, especially to more relevant issues moving forward, it's like I would have, it would have set me up a little bit better. But I understand why it had to happen the way it did. But spirit guides, they they're not lifetime companions in a lot of cases. From what I've heard and what I've seen in research and experienced myself, there's quite a few that enter our lives, you know what I mean, and kind of take the reins or take their shift. And time to them is very different to us. So it's not like you know what I'm saying? It's really something that's hard to grasp in the human form, but nevertheless, it's all about the asking. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the I need help in this. It's not about being egotistical with the command either. You know what I'm saying? On some dictatorship or whatever. But you should be demanding very heartfelt guidance. You know what I mean? And forming a relationship with these individuals as you would anybody who is in the physical form. You know what I mean? This is speaking, while you're by yourself kind of energy. This is that talking uh, to the air, quote unquote. I see people out here all the time talking, and it's like I can't even knock them because I guarantee you, for more than half of those people, there is somebody there speaking with them. You know what I mean? And because we can't see, maybe we're just not as advanced. Maybe all the alcohol and drugs is to numb the pain of a world that doesn't understand how gifted you are with a lot of these individuals out here. You know what I mean? There's the shift doesn't just happen with people who got money in their pocket. You feel me? It's happening to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say that the person on the corner or the person in the boardroom ain't some of the most ingenious, gifted motherfuckers you ever met? You know what I mean? You can't judge by appearance or situation when it comes to the essence or the soul of a person. All right. So these spirit guys, very non-judgmental energy. You know what I mean? But it's like having a bunch of your road dogs from high school or college or whatever tagging along with you, but in a more mature kind of dynamic of getting things done. You know what I'm saying? As far as the intentions and goals set forth. So these spirit guides are here. They're ready and locked and loaded for a lot of them. Don't think they all just sweet and peachy and all that. Some of these are some straight gangsters. You feel me? And depending on your mission or your purpose here, or your reason why you came here, this is how they're assigned, kind of thing. You know what I mean? To help assist in learning a certain craft or new aspect of yourself or relearning. You know what I mean? However that works out for you. So this has been the reading slash introduction to these four cards right here. They really just jumped out today as far as their relationship to each other at this time. And it feels like this is really the best way to convey it is in that real time energy rather than what I mean, some box to put them in, but just how they relate to the times now and how they can speak to us. All right. So with that being said, let's see what in the room. I don't know who's in the room, but they don't show it right here, or do they? Nope, not really. I don't know. I'm getting used to it. But if you have any questions or comments, again, on any of the cards or the conversation, or you like to purchase a deck or commission a service, whether that be a reading or personal piece of art, just feel free to reach out. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So, with all that being said, have a great day, and you know, put a little bit of this out there today. Even if it's quiet, even if nobody hears you verbally, it's a very internal process. And you know, be your own justice at this time. Give yourself that justice. Give yourself that balance. You know, and be willing to cut things out and make room for new things at the same time. You know what I mean? All right. Peace.